There's a dangerous moment that can happen in the sea, and strangely it often arrives just after confidence. Not fear or weakness, confidence. Because confidence can slowly become assumption. An assumption in open water can become a problem very quickly. The sea doesn't care how experienced you are. It doesn't care how many cold water swims you've completed. It doesn't care how fit you are. And it doesn't care how mentally tough you believe yourself to be. Conditions change. Currents shift, visibility disappears, wind direction alters, temperature affects the body, fatigue creeps in, decision making changes. And at the moment, ego overrides awareness. The sea reminds you exactly where you are. And that's something I learned deeply over time. Not through theory, not through reading countless articles in magazines of scientific studies, through exposure. Because the ocean is one of the last environments left that refuses to bend around human comfort. You cannot dominate it. You can only work with it. And that's why I respect it so deeply. People often imagine danger as dramatic, huge waves, storms, chaos. But honestly, most danger actually starts subtly. A stronger pull than expected creates a little more fatigue than usual. A slightly delayed reaction time. A moment where breathing becomes a little less controlled. A small emotional decision instead of a rational one. And this is why respect matters more than confidence. Because respect keeps awareness alive. And the sea has a way of exposing people. Not physically at first, psychologically. See, if your nervous system is chaotic, the water amplifies it. If your thoughts are scattered, the ocean exposes it quickly. And that's why the sea became such a teacher for me. Not because it made me feel fearless, because it made me honest. You cannot fake regulation in rough water. Your breathing tells the truth immediately. Your decision making tells the truth immediately. And your nervous system tells you the truth immediately. Hell yeah. And I used to assess every swim carefully. I was aware of tidal movement. I would ask the locals what way it was moving in the morning to get a bearing on whether I needed to change the direction or the circular route of my swim that day to make it easier on the way back. Wind direction, exit points. We're very lucky here in Guernsey. In certain areas where we swim, you have multiple areas where if it just needs to happen, you can get out. I admit that's probably not as easy in other jurisdictions of the world. And then there's visibility and temperature, swell energy, these things that you see but your brain doesn't quite register the impact that will have. Distance versus energy expenditure. They're all really, really key things that a lot of people, a scarily amount of people, don't think about. But I got to be honest, I'm proud of myself because I did it the sensible way. I took advice from educated, experienced swimmers, and I started small and I conditioned myself to build it up. One of the things people rarely talk about is the emotional state before you enter the water, and that matters massively. If you enter the sea emotionally dysregulated, your perception changes, breathing changes, judgment changes, impulse control changes. That's why emotionally impulsive swimming is dangerous. And honestly, that applies far beyond swimming. Most people are reacting emotionally through life without realising it. They mistake activation for intuition, panic for urgency, ego for confidence. But pressure reveals structure. That's true in the ocean, and it's true in life. One of the biggest lessons the sea taught me was learning to remain intact while conditions around me changed. Not frozen, not numb, not emotionally suppressed. Regulated, aware, and very present. That eventually became one of the foundational ideas underneath the equilibrium method. Because equilibrium is not the absence of chaos. It's the ability to maintain internal stability while chaos exists around you. And the sea teaches that brutally well. You learn quickly that panic wastes energy. Ego clouds judgment. And emotional overreaction, well, that creates danger. But calm observation creates options. That, my friends, is a huge difference. People often think calm people are simply born calm. I don't believe that. I think regulation can be trained. And I think exposure teaches that. Cold water taught me slow breath, steady movement, energy conservation, awareness before reaction. The sea taught me to pause before decisions, or before decision making, I suppose I should say. To observe before action. To regulate before escalation. And honestly, those lessons became useful everywhere else in life too. Relationships, stress, conflict, pressure, business, mental health. The ocean became a mirror, Not because it healed me magically, because it revealed me honestly. And sometimes honesty is the beginning of transformation. You see, the sea doesn't negotiate with your ego. And maybe that's why it became one of the greatest teachers I have ever known. We're all about awakening light, awakening our own inner strength. The equilibrium path unfolds.